So Saito Mitsunori-san is Chief Representative India Office for Japan International Cooperation Agency, uh, abbreviated as JICA, and popularly known as JICA also. Saito-san joined the Overseas Economic Cooperation Fund of Japan in 1995, starting his assignments as representative at Kenya office between 2001 and 2003. He has vast experience in infrastructure financing and capacity development support in African countries such as Egypt, Nigeria, Morocco, Kenya, Rwanda, and Sudan. In India, he first worked in a project for machine modernization of Coal India Limited in 1998 and was later assigned as representative at India office in 2006. During his 4-year tenure in Delhi, he was engaged with various projects like Delhi Metro Rail Phase 2, Bilaspur Jaipur Water Supply Project, and Tamil Nadu Afforestation Project. He was also involved in the formulation of metro projects in Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai in August 2021. He was appointed as Chief Representative at JICA India office. He graduated in 1995 with BA in Law from Tokyo University. With this introduction, let us open the floor for Saito-san. Saito-san, please, all yours.
Right. Firstly, I would like to express my gratitude to Indo-Japan Business Council and the Consulate General of Japan in Mumbai for giving this great privilege and pleasure to make a key presentation on this occasion of Konnichiwa Pune. It would be wonderful to us if we could make a small contribution, if any, to strengthen the friendship, business ties, cultural ties of two countries, which is, I think, slightly affected by the ongoing pandemic. So I look forward to, I very much look forward to making presentation next year, right in front of you in Pune. So now I'm getting into a presentation. JICA's vision, current and the future. I will show the slide. Today the title is JICA's India vision, current and future. So today contents comprises of 4 items. Number 1, JICA's policy and activities in India. Secondly, our response to COVID-19 since last year. Thirdly, I'd like to present some project in Maharashtra. And finally, I'd like to share with you about our cooperation transaction with private sector. Number 1 is policy activities. Before starting, I think it's better to briefly tell you what we are, what JICA is, and what JICA does. JICA is the governmental agency of Japan that coordinates official development assistance, ODA. So foreign assistance of government of Japan is channeled through 2 windows, bilateral assistance and multilateral assistance. While multilateral assistance is channeled through intergovernmental bodies like World Bank, UN agencies, majority of bilateral assistance, which is a government-to-government support, is currently implemented by JICA. And we have 3, roughly speaking, 3 types of tools, namely technical cooperation, grant aid and the ODA loan or investment. So let's say financing as a whole. So different challenges like urbanization, industrial development, inclusive rural growth. Urbanization, it's an unstoppable trend, and you need appropriate infrastructure and social services to accommodate massive inflow of people. Also, India has to sustain livelihood of 140 crore population. To keep up with population growth, you need to create more jobs by accelerating the ongoing industrial development in sustainable manner. And you need to secure decent income and welfare of rural population in an inclusive manner. And another big challenge, although it's not clearly shown here, is of course climate change. Already we see the impact of global warming everywhere, like extreme weather, natural disaster impacting agriculture and the social lives of people. I think Prime Minister Modi, realizing this imminent threat, made a commitment to achieve zero carbon emission by 2070 at Glasgow recently. But we all know that India will have to come up with a tangible, realistic scenario to realize this respectable commitment. Well, JICA is here to bring support to government's efforts in tackling those daunting challenges in line with policies, initiatives of the government. On the other hand, Japan's assistance policy for India, set out by our government, as shown in the right side of the slide, has basically three pillars. One is sustainable and inclusive growth as a nation and in rich local context. Number two is strengthening industrial competitiveness. Industry here is not limited to big manufacturing, or it all includes agriculture or small and medium enterprises. Number three is enhancement of connectivity. In other words, making movement of people and goods more efficient and to sustain competitiveness and the people's access to public services. So these are broad three pillars of Japan's policy. So JICA is providing various support in line with these policy directions, as well as Indian government's policies and direct initiatives in infrastructure development in urban areas for water, sanitation, rail, transport, etc. And also development of national backbone railway network, private sector development, support for competitive agriculture, and overarching target is, of course, health and education of people. And here's the overview of our operation for India in terms of figures, highlighting each tool of assistance. I mean, soft loan, grant aid, technical cooperation. As for soft loan, which occupies the largest part of our support for India, JICA has been providing 4.4 lakh crores since 1958. Yeah, I'd like to highlight a recent transaction volume as shown in the middle. In 2020 alone, we made the commitment of nearly 24,000 crore rupees. This volume is larger than any other country of the world. So you can say India is JICA's oldest and largest development partner. The large pie chart shown in the center of the slide shows to which sector this financing is going. it spawns several sectors like transportation, energy, water, sanitation, agriculture. But if you look at the transport sector, having a largest proportion, 66%, you can see more details on the small pie chart on the right. There you can see our rail metro project, metro railway projects, dedicated freight corridor, DFC, and HSR stands for high-speed railway projects. So these are our big tickets. Together with these big-scale infrastructure projects, currently approximately 100 ODA loans and the technical cooperation and the grant aid projects are under execution in India. In technical cooperation, though our activities currently affected by COVID-19, in the year 2019, before the pandemic, we were able to dispatch about 260 Japanese experts to India and welcomed about 270 trainees from India to Japan in the sectors like agriculture, water, sanitation, many sectors. So these are the overview of what we are, what we do. Now changing slightly topic, I'd like to share how JICA responded to COVID-19 in India over these 2 years. But before that, I'd like to convey my sincere condolences to those who lost lives by the pandemic, and also pay homage to all medical staff who has been tirelessly fighting on the front line still today. I also take the opportunity to give big hands to India's remarkable achievement of 100 crore vaccine doses last month, which is really the bright side of the things, which really demonstrated to the whole world the power of the people, the power of the government of India. So I think this slide is basically toward the audience from Japan, as all Indian friends, colleagues today here actually went through it. So I don't get into detail, but right after the start of pandemic, government of India implemented the massive lockdown and what is called now the first wave came in September last year, followed by the further devastating second wave, where daily new cases exceeded 400,000 per day. JICA took initial reactive measures in project sites, introducing hand washing facilities, distributions of personal protective equipment to prevent infection. But in the face of prolonged pandemic, the government of India requested support to the world, and JICA, like others, quickly reacted and provided 2 sets of budgetary support loans totaling 5.5 crores rupees roughly. The money is aimed to help the government of India's various activities in its fight against the pandemic, like rollout of telemedicine, development of health information reporting system, hospital facility improvement, etc. Also, the fund is expected to be utilized for supports to especially vulnerable groups strongly affected by the pandemic, as well as subsequent economic crisis. Our support was not limited to money, actually. JICA also provided 300 oxygen concentrators, which were very much lacking, especially in the second wave time. They were distributed to hospital in Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and other states, and currently being used for the patients of the disease pandemic. Another initiative with not direct support is research activities. Unprecedented pandemic has been putting various negative impacts on everyone, including medical staff or the vulnerable peoples of society. We would like to know, we need to know how differently the pandemic affected them and how better we can protect them differently in possible next waves of COVID-19. Okay, so these are the salient features of findings of some of our studies conducted in relation to the COVID. One is a study on the impact of the disease on persons with disabilities. And the second one is about impact on medical healthcare workers. In Mumbai, in this case, in this study's case, persons with disability were often unable to receive proper medical services because of lack of data, limited accessibility. So we need to come up with more proactive measures in the possible next waves. And extremely hard working conditions of medical health workers has resulted in insomnia, lethargy, loss of appetite, etc., etc., and the big, pressures. Appropriate care protection is necessary if society is to face the next round of pandemic. JICA would like to reflect these findings to future projects in health sector. And in the next slide, I would like to show that JICA has also initiated awareness raising campaign for hygiene practices called Achiadat campaign. Hygiene practice for preventing the spread of COVID, like washing hands, nail cleaning, through different channels of communication, like public programs on the ground at schools and educational, institutions, as well as, of course, social media like YouTube. The campaign receives the goodwill of various Japanese companies. But for example, by the courtesy of Muji, we were able to hold a small campaign in the fashionable Muji shops in Mumbai. And the Sanrio company Japan is also kind enough to provide educational movie featuring Kitty, as you can see on the right down, worldly famous pretty cat character. So on top of those big infrastructure projects, JICA reacted, and JICA did our best to cope with COVID-19, and our efforts will definitely go on. Next slide. So now changing the topic, and I know time is running out. I would like to briefly share our project, especially in the Maharashtra areas. Next. So dedicated freight corridor, which is one of our flagship project, the backbone of Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor, construction of 1,500 kilometers, dedicated freight line. And when you look at the next slide, part of this section, especially in Rajasthan, has been operational now. And as you can see in the back side of the picture, the idea is basically a two-story cargo transportation on a dedicated, specialized truck with 100-kilometer speed, enabling connecting Delhi, Mumbai in 20 hours. So that will definitely make great impact on logistics as well as Indian economy as a whole. Next slide. So this is another famous one, Mumbai-Ahmedabad Highway Speed Railway. So this is introducing a Japanese bullet train system in India. And now the project is to connect Mumbai and Ahmedabad. Most economically important, promising coastline of the country. Works has already been started, and designing works are intensively going on for rolling stock as well as systems, gathering engineers of both country together day and night. This is really big. This is going to be a big achievement once completed. Next slide. So this Mumbai Metro project. This line 3 is expected to connect airport and central business area like Nariman Point, let's say. So you connect them in 40 minutes time. So this will definitely make a good benefit for people's life as well as probably your business as well. Okay, Trans-Harbor Link. Yes, the idea is the same. How to reduce or divert, traffic congestion and ease logistics. So these big projects are going on in and around Mumbai area. Next slide. I think it's more important for you. This is a project for you. Pollution abatement of Murla River in Pune. So water quality of the river is very bad, 5 to 27 times higher than the drinking water standards. We will be, we finance, and the Pune Municipal Corporation will construct 11 sewage treatment plant and laying more than 100 kilometers sewer lines to realize clean water in the river, which is a kind of the highlight which is going to be the highlight of the beauty of the city. So works are going on. So I very much would like to complete early completion. So these okay, you can skip this. Time is so these are our recent projects, and now it's almost 11 o'clock in India, but let me briefly share with you our recent another initiative, which is the private sector. Basically, JICA's mandate is government to government cooperation assistance, but we do have tools and tools and modalities directly supporting private sector's activities, which is expected to boost, contribute to economic and social development of recipient countries. We have basically three modules: private sector investment, finance shown in the top. This is a lending or investment directly to private entities. While the loan project explained was government to government loans, the borrower is government of India. So private sector finance is more private transaction. Second is supports through feasibility study and the surveys of Japanese company which has great promising technology to resolve social and economic agenda of Indian companies. And we do have thirdly business matching activities. Let's move on to the next slide. As of now, we have five private lending and investment projects, like supporting micro, small, medium enterprises or self-help groups. This is a kind of microfinancing. And also we have financial support through those non-banking institutions for investment in renewable technology. You can see one of our projects being financed through Tata Clean Tech Capital. Yeah, we would like to accelerate and increase these type of investment and lending. Private sector has definitely growing important role to resolve social and economic agenda of India, where every government has limited in resources and human resources, financial resources, capacities. So, private sector is the key.
Sure.
Next slide. So these are our support in feasibility study or preliminary studies,
Yes.
so that technologies of Japanese companies, especially small and medium Japanese companies, can be applied to tackle social and economic agenda in India. So we have several studies. We supported Japanese companies technological experiments as a rollout of their technologies. I hope this company will become our client in future of our private finance for India.
Yes.
And finally, in the last slide, another support. This is matching of Indian entrepreneurs, social enterprises with Japanese counterparts. We call it SDGs Business Co-Creation Lab, Tsunagaru Lab in Japanese. So periodically, we are updating a list of promising startups, social entrepreneurs of India, and we are holding regular matching events, though now it's still online basis. But yes, this is how we have been, and we would like to further support, strengthen business ties of between two countries. So in overall, so JICA has been contributing infrastructure development of India, but our efforts has been spreading out to different new areas like healthcare as well as private business promotion. So that is for me from now. Thank you very much.
So, Saito-san, thank you. Thank you very much. I think there are a lot of things from your presentation. Few of the things were known to us. Some of the new things we could figure out, and I think it will be really good if we can catch up sometime and do more brainstorming on how we can also be of help to JICA to promote a lot of this event. Specifically, the startup side is very interesting.
Right.
So, due to the shortage of time, I'd like to say thank you very much for being with us and sharing JICA's vision with all our audience. And would love to see you in person next time. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Welcome.